Hi, and welcome to the One True Church. I'm Hugh Whitmore. Today's presentation is called Mr. Trump's Effect on the End Times. As I make this presentation, we're in the third month of President Trump's second term. I'll be analyzing some of Mr. Trump's policies to show they're a sinister effort to affect the end times. But first, I have to provide some historical and biblical background to set up the political part. Since Genesis chapter 2, verse 3, the earth has been run by demonic forces. Luke chapter 4, verses 5 and 6 show that Satan confirms to Jesus that he, Satan, is in control of the earth. All high-level political leaders around the world serve these demonic forces. These political leaders are required to constantly create rituals of confusion, injury, and death in order to create the amount of dark spiritual energy necessary to counter the glory and power of God so they can keep Jesus and the angels from coming back in the end times process. Jesus speaks of the end times process in the Gospels, but the book of Revelation is most descriptive of this process. Chapter 1 shows that only those who are highly obedient to God will be chosen to glorify Him and empower Him so He can send Jesus to destroy sin and Satan and recapture His stolen eternal kingdom. Yes, empower. We empower God. Revelation 4:11. You are worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power. To receive. This is how God set up salvation. He breathes the energy of life into us, and He asks us to send some of that energy back by our obedient works. Chapters 2 and 3 of Revelation are the set of instructions for believers on how to create the glory God needs by devoting our lives to doing the works Jesus taught. The remaining 19 chapters of Revelation show that after God receives the appropriate amount of glory, a violent seesaw battle of spiritual energy between good and evil takes place in the heavens just above the earth. It will be right above us, and we'll see it. They're prepping us for it with all of those explained and unexplained lights in the sky. This battle can result in sin and Satan being overcome, but only if the church stays fully devoted to the teachings of Jesus all throughout this fight. And right now, we're in the time just before this battle. It's coming, so hold on to God and be faithful. The end times is a process that can start at any time, and it has been started 3 previous times in American history when God's church has risen up in what historians call great awakenings. Awakenings increase the total number of believers, but as Revelation shows, the end of the awakening is most powerful for God after the average believers fall away and the most dedicated of God's servants remain. Jesus also speaks of the power of dedicated believers in the parable of the sower. These righteous servants are needed to move the end times to its conclusion, a conclusion we're nearing right now, which is why Mr. Trump was sent by the demonic forces to avert the final battle while simultaneously preparing for it. Mr. Trump's rapid pace of executive orders and legislation appears to be unique, but past presidents have done similar things at the tail end of church awakenings when they needed to quiet the rising power of God's church. These flurries of political activity are designed to distract the less devout believers from their important task of glorifying God, and when they fall away, the dark forces need to clear out the power of God's elect and righteous. They do this by concocting reasons for the most destructive of all demonic rituals, a world war, a pattern which has happened after all of the 3 previous awakenings in the church that ended with the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, and World Wars I and II. Each time the government has first offered up a major societal effort to provide conservative social progress of the type appreciated by moral people, especially conservative Christians, and then they moved on to war. Mr. Trump is currently working on clearing out the weaker believers with moralizing through the use of executive orders. Some of these orders are, eradicating anti-Christian bias, that's the exact name of that order, reducing crime in the U.S. generally and removing criminal aliens specifically, keeping transgendered men out of women's sports, stopping the flow of illicit drugs into the country, reducing the national debt, safeguarding the right to bear arms, reducing ungodly indoctrination in K-12 schools, and generally reducing money for leftist causes. These efforts to improve societal morality lead the spiritually weak to be pleased with and hopeful in a human being, that being the president, instead of putting their full effort into glorifying God, which is the thing that moves the end times along. These weak believers relax from their works because they think a pattern is developing that is moving us toward a safer, more moral society, and that is never going to happen. This is the demonic method of making people think there will be a heaven on the earth, and that is never going to happen. These are demonic people, and they will never improve the earth. They can't, or their rule will end here. Every single improvement they make will be degraded and then made worse than before over time. It always has, and it always will. The job of each president is to leave office with more evil on the earth than when they were elected, and Mr. Trump is no exception. The very act of pretending to do good while planning to do evil is demonic. This false dialectic is metaphorically shown by the tree of the knowledge of good and evil in Genesis 2:16-17, and it has been used by the satanic elite for thousands of years. After moving along with his moral agenda for a while, Mr. Trump will lead us into a huge and destructive war designed to weaken the resolve of the truly devout and devoted believers. You can see this war looming on the horizon as Mr. Trump, his administration, the Senate, the House, and even the Democrats constantly characterize China as an immediate economic and military threat to the United States. Mr. Trump is talking about taking over Greenland and the Panama Canal to prepare us for this war. It's all a script because all events are planned on the earth and agreed to beforehand by all the countries involved, even those events that lead to war. Unlike past wars, this time the evil actors around the world have space-based energy weapons, satellites, spaceships, a worldwide war budget in the trillions of dollars, and extensive electrical grids, none of which were put into place to protect countries or improve human lives, but to be only ready to fight the energy of the end times battle. These modern technologies have not been created for wars between humans. They have been created to destroy the spiritual energy of God's angels as they fight Satan's angels in the heavens. Please don't let it happen. The president is not your savior. Jesus of Nazareth is your savior and my savior. Please stop relying on this president or any politician or any political movement, left or right, for improvements to your life or your future. Our future isn't even here on the earth. Our future is in heaven. The future of the earth is its destruction. Prepare yourself for the coming end times battle by living the life Jesus taught, where you withdraw from this sinful world as much as possible while still making a living. Serve God. Pray. Fast and pray if you are healthy enough to fast. Reduce your sin. Read the Bible and meditate on God's truth. Read the Bible aloud to the Father. Create glory for the Father who made us, and soon He will send His Son to save us and to overcome those who seek to deceive us.